And greetings, my friend, to the next move of the week, helping to make the whole world stronger through the power of progressive calisthenics. Matt Schifferly, and today's episode. Greetings, my friend, and welcome to the Red Delta Project YouTube channel. I'm Matt Schifferly, as always, with the next move of the week, empowering the entire world to get stronger with the power of progressive calisthenics. We are using suspension straps today to make it a lot easier to adjust and dial in the technique of inverted rows, or oftentimes sometimes called Australian pull-ups, or just simply rows. And this is one of those calisthenics moves that does not get its due diligence, because a lot of times we like to focus on the vertical pulling movements like pull-ups, but rows can still be extremely effective for all of the pull chain muscles, your entire back, shoulders, biceps, because fundamentally you're still engaging in the same movement patterns. We're still using shoulder extension and bicep flexion. So these are certainly a legitimate way to build up the pulling actions of your upper body. A couple of things to pay attention to with this is, even though we can just simply lean back and row, that can be very effective. But a big part of this exercise is our shoulder movements. One of the things that I often see people do is keeping their shoulder blades locked, and then they're moving with just the arm movement, and they're negating a lot of the mobility, stability, and strength benefits of the exercise. So I always recommend warm up first with scapular rows. These involve just kind of leaning back, arms are straight, shoulders come forward and up. And then when you pull the shoulders back, you also depress. So that way, you're kind of getting this type of movement. It's not front to back or up and down, it's a combination of the two. So we'll start off with just that scapular movement, paying attention if you have a difference or discrepancy between your right and left side, using whatever hand position you like. And that motion we want to carry over very much to our rows. The other reason why I love using suspension straps or rings is because you can instantly adjust the resistance that you're using. Because remember that fundamentally, progressive calisthenics and especially suspension straps are still exactly the same thing as weightlifting. We're still doing everything the same. It's just how we adjust our weight. So if I'm leaning back at this angle, I have a certain amount of weight on my feet and some weight on my hands. And if I come down lower, I have literally added weight to my hands by transferring it from my feet, just as if I just picked up a heavier dumbbell or selected a different weight on a weight stack. I usually have the handles set up about waist height, because if they're too low, then you're going to get lower and lower and lower and either start to slide out, or you're going to have just trouble getting a full range of motion because your back is hitting the floor. So about waist height or so, getting down lower and lower until you have the amount of resistance you want to work with. And I usually have folks start with their knees bent until they come all the way down and getting a full range of motion. Again, big movement in the shoulder blades, keeping the glutes and hamstrings very, very tight. The whole backside of the body is working. Avoiding the hunch, of course. When the shoulders are hunched up, when we're doing this, we're largely losing a lot of the tension and the resistance in the back. So you want to feel like you're rolling the shoulders down and back, lifting up nice and high, tall chest at the top of every repetition. Once you have a good number of rows with the knees bent, let's say about 10 to 15 or so, then we can start to extend the legs out for even more resistance. And of course, you can micro adjust the resistance with half bent knees straight. You can also increase the stability with wider stance or narrower. Taking away some of that stability will make your pull chain work harder to provide that stability. And then finally, you can also elevate your feet slightly on something like a weight bench, making sure your glutes and hamstrings are all the way engaged to get even more weight on my hands. Again, ensuring my scapular motion is intact. Hands are coming low on my chest and getting as much range as possible with each rep. So if pull-ups and vertical pulling are still a very challenging exercise, you're only getting a handful of repetitions, or your joints are starting to scream at you a little bit in the elbows, or if you're just looking for something to change it up, don't neglect your rowing. It's a fantastic way to work your entire pull chain, and I put a little micro workout down below in the description if you want to apply it in a very hard-hitting way to build muscle and strength. Thank you very much for watching. Likes and shares and stuff are much appreciated. Be fit and live free.